And no one's done it for more than like
What
$10.
else can break?
But I think what happened was somebody.
I'd like to welcome everyone to the August 21st meeting of the Newmarket Town Council, and we will start, as always, with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, first item on our agenda is public forum, and seeing as how there is no public, I am going to go ahead and close the public forum at 7 o'clock. The next item on our agenda is the meeting minutes from July 17th, and I would accept a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from July 17th, 2019.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none? Call the roll.
Council Finch.
Aye.
Council Sanders.
Aye.
Council Dumont.
Aye.
Council Kuiper.
Aye.
Council Cass.
Aye.
Council Burns.
Abstain.
Council Weinstein.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0 to 1.
And next would be the minutes from the July 17th non-public meeting. And I would accept a motion to approve those.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the July 17th, 2019 non-public meeting.
Second.
Any discussion?
Council Finch.
Aye.
Council Sanders.
Aye.
Council Dumont.
Aye.
Council Kuiper.
Aye.
Council Cass.
Aye.
Council Burns.
Abstain.
Council Weinstein.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0 to 1.
And next we have the town administrator's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The first item is on my report is one of the goals of the town council for the coming year was to encourage more access to the river and a potential river walk in the future. Happy to say that the Newmarket Community Development Corporation will provide the town with a grant of up to $10,000 to have a firm write a report on constructing a pedestrian bridge from downtown to Heron Point. The report would provide a recommended location for the bridge, a potential design for the bridge, and most importantly, the estimated cost of the bridge. This would be the first step in creating a downtown access to Heron Point, as well as a potential river walk in the future. We'll be working with the Conservation Commission and Recreation Department to secure additional funding. The next item, to better promote commercial and industrial development within municipalities, the state approved Senate Bill 22, which permits towns and cities to grant property tax exemptions of up to 50% to companies for a period of 10 or fewer years. This is very similar to what we currently use for 79E, which is to rehab historic buildings. If adopted, the town council by the town council, commercial and or industrial businesses seeking to build, rebuild, modernize, or enlarge within the municipality will be eligible to receive property tax exemptions. The town council would need to determine the public benefit criteria, such as job creation, taxable investment, targeted industries, or anything that the community deems beneficial. As I said, this is similar to 79E, and it allows for exemptions of certain taxes of not more than 50% in 10 or fewer years. As you're aware, the Newmarket Mills receive 79E with great benefit to the community. It's my intention to recommend to the council to create a special district along North Main Street, which we can grant this exemption on a case-by-case basis if the council determines a project meets one of the public benefits. Much like we do now, we negotiate the ultimate agreement. I'm working with the town attorney to draft the legislation for the council, and with the economic development consultant and community development director to identify the district. This would help with one of the other council goals of developing the gateways in the community. And as you can see, with the state now done the project in 108, we have an rather large empty lot up there. So it'd be nice to see something in there. As the council knows, we've been looking for additional parking downtown. The other day, the public works director and the librarian and I were on Elm Street looking to see if it's possible to actually reduce the sides of the sidewalks on Elm Street and to put parallel parking there. However, with the houses on the other side of the street, it's not wide enough. We'd have to shrink the sidewalks too much, and the plows couldn't get on there, as well as it's just not wide enough. But where we're looking is that Weaver's Row, which is the access between Main Street and the plaza, is currently two ways and has a pretty significant amount of side there. If we make it one way, we can add an additional 9 spaces along Weaver's Row. We've talked to the library; they have no issue with it. We've talked to Chidberg and builders, and they have no issue because we want to make sure to be good neighbors. So as of this afternoon, there is a one-way sign coming in from Main Street. So it'll be one way only in, and there will be 9 spaces. Well, we're going to do what we do on downtown. We're not going to mark the 9 spaces because if you have motorcycles, you can get more vehicles in there. Versus if you have SUVs, you only get a certain number. 9 is the minimum number we can get in there. We measured that day, so we're going to try that starting this afternoon. Well, literally this afternoon, and the public works director is going to paint it soon. If the flow of traffic doesn't work, we'll flip it the other way, so it'll be one way going out. But what we prefer to do is people go back out on Elm Street to get onto Main Street, or use the other side of the market to get out onto Main Street. So we're trying that right now. Ultimately, we will have to come to the council to amend an ordinance to allow to make a street one way, but we just want to try as a pilot for now before we do that. The hearing process for the revaluations is finished, and I wanted to clarify some of the misconceptions that are out there. One of the things that, and it happens every time, people tend to use their new values, but also take the old tax rate to guesstimate what their tax bill is going to be. The number of times I've heard, oh my gosh, my house went up X amount, my tax bill is going to go up ridiculous amount. It's not always the case. I'm not going to say that some situations that the tax bills are not going to be going up because the value went up. However, the way we estimated this was the current tax rate is $29.24 based on the total townwide valuation of the old one of $762,112,692. Since the reval, the new after exemptions, the value of the town is $979,805,428. Using the same budget figures between the 2 years, the new tax rate would be $24.20. This is I'm gonna put the big estimate. This is all estimates. All have to be set by DRA and after the hearings. For example, the previous average house was about $300,000. We saw a property value increase of 28%, so the average house now is $384,000. So using the estimated fiscal year 20 budget that we're in, we estimated the tax rate would be $31.12. Again, the new value is $24.20. So the estimated tax bill on a $300,000 home was going to be $334.58. Now that home, if it's $384,000, the tax bill is $9,292.58. $1.59. Rule of thumb, when it comes to the revals, a third of the properties go up on tax bills, a third stay about the same, and a third drop. So it's pretty broken up evenly out there. So I just want to make sure people realize that. Don't use the old tax rate when estimating the tax bill on with your new value, because they're two completely separate things now. And that is all I have tonight.
Councilor Dumont.
Two quick questions for the town administrator. The first one, on Weaver's Row, where exactly are you designated the parking?
You have the library building,
Yeah,
then there's a sidewalk across.
yeah,
That lane will be gone, and that
Okay.
will be parking.
so you're still gonna keep all the parking along the library?
Yes.
You're gonna add some by
Yep,
the sidewalk?
adding 9 on the other side.
I was just trying to visualize it.
Yep.
And my second question, was there an update for the AT&T monopole?
Yeah, I got an update after the publishing of this. They are going to probably be in construction sometime this fall.
Awesome, thank you.
Councilor Kuiper.
I just had a question about the Shanda Park and the pedestrian bridge, and that was if there's any chance of maybe getting some parking down there, if we're going to redevelop it anyway, like around where that brick water treatment building is, because there's a huge parking lot there. I know that fence has to be there for some safety stuff, or had to
Does
be.
not now.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, if it maybe potentially that regulation from 9/11 was no longer.
One issue that we do have down in that area, though, is that we do not own the land between Shanda Park and the pump station.
Oh,
We
okay.
have a right of way, and the road is available there. So we have to still do some deed research on what we can and can't do. But there's a private piece of land in between the two parcels.
Okay, because that looks like a part of the narrowest spot is like right around there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seeing no other comments, I just I have a couple things. First of all, the parking, I think it's a really creative solution, and I know I emailed you. I would prefer to have a different traffic pattern. I'm in and out of that plaza several times a day, but I think that this is, see how it goes.
Yeah, when we were sitting there, we actually sat there for a little bit to see basically which way more cars go, and more came in than
Yep.
went out from there. So we're like, okay, well, it's not very scientific, but at this point, we're gonna try it that way.
Right. And now I think it'll just be making sure, obviously, people, the signs are there, and just
Right.
getting the word out and making sure that people are aware that the pattern is changing. It's gonna take, there'll be an adjustment period, and just, we've seen this before. So I think that it'll just take a little bit of time, and people will get used to the new system. So 9 spaces is a lot, and I think that it's going to make a big impact to the downtown. So I'm really excited to have the extra spaces, and then we can add some more EV charging spaces at some point. And then I also just wanted to comment on the police report in the department reports. I don't have it pulled up, but for whatever reason, I think I tend to focus on the police report every time, but what the chief wrote about the new policy, I just think it's proactive, and I really appreciate that he cleared that through the ACLU, and just appreciate his work on that. So I just wanted to state that publicly. Councilor Dumont?
I just wanted to bounce off that. I meant to ask in advance, but kind of just spaced it. Is there a way that we could get a copy of what that policy is, just so we can see it? 'Cause
I would have to see.
I'm not sure if it's
Police
one of those.
policies are not public.
And I wasn't sure,
Yeah.
but I was kind of curious to know what they're operating from.
Let's see where I'm at, sorry. So the next item on our agenda is committee reports. Do you have any committee reports? Councilor Burns?
It's not really a report, but we're about to get going. So I did get an email that they're looking to start scheduling the CIP meetings. We're looking at maybe next week or the following week. I'm hoping it'll be the first week in September. So, those should be more information to come on those soon. Probably for the next meeting.
Great. Councilor Cast?
Yes, I was just going to acknowledge that the planning board is looking to schedule a joint meeting. And, see if we can do that maybe before the end of the year, but I don't know.
Probably at our second meeting in September,
Okay,
because at the same time we'll have the economic development consultants provide an update.
right, that's a good tie-in.
And then along those lines, we do have it was confirmed with the school board, I think I sent out an email, that we will have our joint meeting on the 25th of September. Councilor Sanders?
I just wanted to bring up that we were going to plan another conversation with the counselors, with Steve and myself and any other one or two counselors that would like to join us to discuss taxes. That might be a good place to clear up any misconceptions about using old rates and new things, as well as going over again for people who didn't attend the last one, where your tax dollars are actually going, because I think there's also a misconception about how much money we actually have control over versus how much goes to the school and the county and the state. So I think that I'd like to get together with Steve and pick a date for that.
So there's no date yet?
Not yet. I can do it at his availability.
Councilor Dumont?
Yes, in terms of committees, just want to mention that I believe at this point the budget committee is supposed to be having their first meeting on the 26th, coming back from summer break. I haven't heard anything yet at that point. Right now that date is still tentative. Then the government operations committee that we were working on should be having its first meeting Wednesday the 28th at 6 p.m., which is next Wednesday. I know it's a little bit earlier than normal, but they're expecting a fairly short meeting from what I can tell.
And then I have a couple updates from the Energy and Environment Committee. So we tend to have long, involved meetings, so I won't hopefully give you too much information here. But one of the things that we've been working on is the glyphosate issue, and we are, I think, at a point where we'll be making a recommendation to the council. At this point, our recommendation is not going to be to really change much with what we're currently doing. We looked at cost options, and we'll have all of that in a report, probably, well, hopefully at one of our meetings in September. It should be finalized. So there's that. The EV charging station will be going in, which I think you said it just arrived.
Yep.
So that should be going in soon, which I'm incredibly excited about. And then we've also undertaken a greenhouse gas inventory project. So I think I may have mentioned this at our last meeting. In order to know where we need to reduce and measure any reductions, we need to know what our baseline is. So we're going to be working on getting a baseline. And then we also are going to be having an event on, I don't have the date, I believe it's October 1st. and it's with Revision Energy, and it's all about using solar power in your home. So it's for residential customers. So I will make sure that I have those, that I have the date and the time. I believe it's the 1st at 6:30, so I will double check that. And then lastly, this is kind of combines a couple committees, I guess. One of the committee members works with creating living shorelines, and through her connection, she connected with the Conservation Commission and with Casey, and Councilor Finch, and we had a meeting today actually with the chair of the Conservation Commission, Patrick Reynolds, as well as members of the Energy and Environment Committee, and we met at Shanda Park with a person from DES, and to talk about ways to control erosion at the park, and to do it in a more environmentally friendly way, I guess. I don't know if that's really the right term, but being aware of sea level rise, some of the predictions that, some of the numbers that she gave us today were startling, and it's, you know, it's already at a point where the wall is falling into, you know, from Shanda Park, and so with more high tides and more serious weather events, the erosion is just going to continue to get worse. So we've started a discussion, and the next step will be to form a committee to work specifically on this issue. And so we're going to work with the chair of the Conservation Commission and with Steve to draft up a first read for a resolution to create this committee, probably with one council member, Conservation Commission member, possibly a planning board member, and at-large people who I think that there are people in the community who will be very invested in this issue, and have some expertise that they can offer. So it was a great meeting, I thought, and we talked not just about erosion control, but then also we talked a little bit about expanding sort of the waterway, and we talked about that parking lot, and the access to Heron Point is another factor to consider. So I'm really excited about the prospect of maintaining this resource that we have, and hopefully dealing with the real effects of climate change that we're seeing. And that's all I have. So we don't have any resolutions in the second reading. The next item that we have is nominations and appointments, and we have one nomination, sorry, and that's Sarah Stinson as to be nominated for Newmarket Public Library Trustee, and I would accept a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept Sarah Stinson to the Newmarket Library Trustee.
Second.
Any comments?
Councilor Finch.
Aye.
Councilor Sanders.
Aye.
Councilor Dumont.
Aye.
Councilor Kuiper.
Aye.
Councilor Cast.
Aye.
Councilor Burns.
Aye.
Councilor Weinstein.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. 7-0. Sorry.
And the next item that we have is resolutions in the first reading. So we have resolution 2019-2020-01, and that's a resolution authorizing the issuance of debt for water projects in the amount of $6,800,000. $819,000 from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Whereas at the 2019 town election, the voters approved the issuance of up to $12.1 million in debt for various water projects. And whereas the Environmental Services Department was able to receive a loan in the amount of $6,819,000 with an interest rate of 2.75% and $1,434,000 in grants, both from USDA Rural Development. Now therefore let it be resolved by the Newmarket Town Council that the Newmarket Town Council approves these terms and authorizes for the execution of a loan resolution with the USDA Rural Development, first reading August 21st, 2019. And that's all we have on our agenda. Is there any correspondence to the council? And any closing comments? Councilor Kuiper.
I just want to say thanks to the rec department for putting on an awesome Arts in the Park. Amy and Anna did a really good job, really good bands. I was there on Tuesday for the last one. They had a really cool a cappella-ish band doing oldies. And the Soggy Po Boys was at the Mill Space the week before because it rained, and that was also wicked cool. And I just want to say thank you to them for putting that on.
Councilor Burns.
Also to the rec department. So it was a couple of weeks ago, I believe, that they had the National Water Balloon celebration and day, and so a few of us went over to that, and it was a great event. I think Quinn told me they had 10,000 balloons.
10,000.
That he helped fill up, so, but they had a lot of fun. It was a great day, so thank you to the Newmarket Rec Department for getting that accomplished.
That's great. Seeing no other lights, then we are adjourned.